As we go farther into the evening, make sure that your lights are on. Sometimes, few people don't have lights in the room and all I can see is a black little screen, so keep lights on. Alright, so it's the third day and we've done a bodhicitta practice from different perspectives. Just simple bodhicitta based bodhicitta application through mere intention or simple prayer. That was the first one. The next one was Tonglen, that we did one session yesterday. And yesterday we also did Mani Mantra, a very special Mani Mantra practice where we covered all the bhumis directly in the body, centers in the body, and then the space in the aura. So I think that we will continue Tonglen next, and then probably we'll also do another session of those Mani Mantras today. So you can align your body. We've also done relaxation sequences. I've told you some good relaxation tips, so remind yourself about those. Rather than going after to find some clarity, softness, groundedness, stop seeking. And discovering happens by itself. Exactly. Like all Mahasiddhas and Buddhas before us, we practice bodhicitta, relative bodhicitta, meaning that we exercise our compassion. And in that way, it makes us mature, makes us grow spiritually and psychologically also, actually. So, relative bodhicitta is a practice, something, the foundation of Mahayana great vehicle, but it is also the goal itself. So there is relative bodhicitta, bodhicitta from the point of view of practice, and there is absolute bodhicitta. Bodhicitta literally means heart-mind of enlightenment, meaning the heart-mind of Buddhas. So the heart-minds of Buddhas have this expression of wanting to offer a helping hand, blessings, guidance, support, understanding to those who are still in the wheel of samsara. This is absolutely crucial to understand. And this already, when we have the experience, when we generate bodhicitta, and like I explained, it needs to move us, it needs to move our energy, it needs to move our hearts. When that motivation motivates our being, our energies, there will be instantly a recognition of the basic state, a recognition of ourselves as Buddhas, a recognition of ourselves as Mahasiddhas, greatly attained masters. And this is, it sounds very grandiose, to some off-putting, to some scary, to speak about Buddhas and Mahasiddhas, those who are greatly enlightened and attained, but that's what it is. In the experience itself, there is nothing grandiose. It is simply seeing the reality of seeing our own reality, and seeing the mind, the mind of reality of others, that Buddha nature that is common to all beings. All beings have the nature that is self-knowing, and that's why it's selfless and empty of entityness. So there is no ignorance, there is only wisdom. No ignorance, no sense of duality, no distance, only intimacy. And all beings have this basic nature that is not only self-knowing and empty, but also loving and soft and caring and grounded, like mountains. So it doesn't need to be earned. We don't need a permission to glimpse it, awake into it, to realize it. Nobody's permission is needed. It is our basic nature. And the sole only difference between those greatly realized and others is in self-based habits, ignorance. In a sense, it's a small difference, but it makes it's a small difference, but it's a big difference at the same time. So it belongs to everybody. It belongs to everybody of us. We deserve to know ourselves. It's our basic nature. But so it is in the case of all beings. Anyone. All our friends, family members, people who we don't know, people who we ever meet. So Avalokiteshvara is a Sanskrit name for the Buddha of compassion. Avalokita Ishvara, Avalokiteshvara, which means Lord, could be really translated as Lord or God, Ishvara. So Lord who hears the cries from below. Lord who hears the cries from below. I don't know if there's like a feminine form for the word Lord, but you could also translate it as a goddess, God or goddess who hears the cries from below. Avalokiteshvara, Avalokiteshvari. So in Tonglen practice, we become Avalokiteshvara. We not only hear the cries of suffering, we not only witness the suffering, existential pain of those around us, but we, in a very unique way, try to help that situation. Try to be of assistance by welcoming the pain, existential pain of others into our hearts, so that the anguish and pain and suffering can be transformed into pure light blessings, rainbow light blessings. So all this might sound, maybe it sounds scary or extremely advanced or extremely difficult, but that's your self-based mind saying that. Be aware of that. This is Avalokiteshvara, this Buddha of compassion, having enlightened compassion. It's part of who we really are. Pure empathy. That's part of who we are. There are other aspects to our enlightened nature, such as, wisdom aspect. Manjushri, he holds a sword. So there is all this discrimination and wrathful aspect and so on and so on. But what I'm saying is that just do the exercise. Just focus on what you're experiencing. Just focus on the instructions and do it. Okay? So let's do the same type of Tonglen as we did yesterday. And maybe I'll just mention that we didn't use the inhalation and exhalation yesterday. We only opened up to the surrounding world, surrounding space, and felt. We didn't go after finding suffering of others. It is there. We simply became aware of it. Right? So we didn't go after finding suffering, but that's what we found. So we will do that again and then welcome pain and suffering into our hearts. And then we will do it with the breath. Inhaling the suffering of others into our hearts and exhaling pure light, rainbow light blessings back to them. So that you learn both versions and can use either of the versions, whichever you prefer. And so it might be up to a point in the beginning of your yogic practice, it might be easier to use the breath because it gives you something to do. So, breathing and imagining that movement of energy that comes into you and exhaling movement of energy that goes out of you, it gives you a point of focus, something to do. And this can be helpful, can be easier. But if you already have, calmness, clarity, stability in your recognition of the basic state, then the first version, where you don't use the breath, comes naturally. All right. So here we are sitting again. You have your body and you have your energy field. You can, in your mind, with your attention, draw through the edge of the aura, get a sense how big it is, get a sense where the edges are, and how is the energy inside your aura. How is the energy inside your heart, in your body? What is the feel? What is the sound of your being? Also get a feel of that heart center inside your chest, fist-size area in the middle of your chest, inside the chest cavity. Exactly in the middle between chest bone and spine and shoulder blades. In the center of your chest, not on the left, not on the right, in the middle. Even bringing attention to this area, there can be a burst of clarity, love, compassion, just automatically. This is your own nature, your own mind, your own true identity. Good. Then feel into the space outside your aura. If it is helpful, you can, for example, think of the physical space that would cover your town or city where you live, or part of the city if it's a big city. Might be a, some sense like a kilometer outside your aura, or 10 kilometers to include the whole town, whole city. So here it is important that we are not meditating on the space. We are not meditating on the expanded, extended three-dimensional space. We are meditating on the emotional quality, energetic quality of the beings who inhabit that space. If we would be meditating on space, that would be kind of like it would be like a shamatha without support or jhana-like meditation. And we are definitely not doing that. So feel the beings, feel people around you. We are human beings in these human bodies, sitting in our apartments and homes. So it becomes kind of, because we are human beings walking on this earth in upright position, we naturally start thinking about expanding horizontally. And that's perfectly fine. You can keep it like that for this exercise. But maybe just something that you can use or might want to use is that you can think of the space 360 degrees horizontally, 360 degrees vertically. Human beings don't float in the air, but in non-physical realms there are beings floating in non-physical air. God or goddess who hears the cries of those below, of those around. So hear, listen. And it doesn't take long that the really typical samsaric energy comes to us. However, if you don't feel anything, you don't notice anything, change in that case, adjust your approach, relax more, don't try too much, let it come to you. Let it come to you. May the suffering, existential pain and confusion come into my heart, arrive into my heart. Right into the middle of your chest, where that Dzogchen center is. May the suffering of all beings arrive, come there. Interested about it, simply observe. So you keep feeling the energy of samsara around, and it keeps, how do you say that? It stays welcomed to arrive and arrives in your heart, and it's spontaneously, naturally transformed into clear light blessings that shoot back to where they came from. And then you can let the receiving and giving, just kind of let it stop. And see how you feel, how your mind is, how your heart is, head is, gut is. How do you feel? And then let's go back to receiving and giving. Tonglen, doing the breath. So feel into the greater space around you again and get a sense of beings and their emotions in that space. And then, when you get a sense of that, let's start doing deep breathing. So with inhalation, sort of like activating a vacuum cleaner, you inhale, you suck in all that pain into your heart. And then when there's a moment between inhalation and exhalation, that little half a second stop, when that energy of suffering touches the center of the heart, it immediately transforms. Just like when light touches a diamond, it is immediately, transformed into 5 colors, rainbows. Similarly, the moment it touches the center of the heart, there is transformation, and then you simply exhale that energy back in the form of bright light or rainbow lights or any of the rainbow colors, yellow, green, blue, red, green, any of those. You exhale it back to that space, to those beings who you got it from. So please start, and let's do this for a couple of minutes. If it helps, you can imagine that the pain and suffering comes to you as like a dirty energy, like black, gray, brownish energy that is then transformed in the heart. Deep inhalation, brief pause, deep exhalation, and then it starts over. There is no hurry. The breath is not speeded up in any way, just slowly. Wave going back and forth, coming in, going out, like that. A few more times. And then, after exhalation, you can leave it. And you can stop receiving, giving, and not do anything. Eyes relaxed, brain, face, jaws, gut, shoulders, chest relaxed, limbs relaxed. Feel your physical body. You can take few deep breaths, stretch, move. All right. How was that?
I think I could sit like this the whole day, like Tonglen practice. It's lovely. And I can feel how the outer parts of the aura kind of start shaking. Like that has like this effect, like it hits that. And yeah, it's lovely. I do it with like some combing here and there where I can feel parts of where it's not clean.
Yeah.
And yeah, really just lovely.
I'm not sure if I did it correctly. Oh, sorry, Gwen.
It's all right. Carry on.
But it was really extremely intense, and I almost started crying because I could feel all the stuff coming in. And then I was confused about what to do with all this and where to put it until I realized it has to go into the heart. But it was really intense, and I'm just, I don't know how to put it in words.
I understand. I know what you're saying. Go ahead, Gwen.
Yeah, I didn't think it was lovely. Exactly. When you're sending out the light, that is lovely, but bringing in is not lovely to me. And the first time it was really strong with screams and shouts, and it was very sort of verbal, a lot of noise, and yeah, just awful cries of grief and first time. This time it was more the kind of depression and being weighed down by life and miserableness, and like a big sigh, big groan, a big sigh, rather than the acute sort of it was more it was interesting. It was quite different. And I wondered if you could do this for single person, if you know somebody who's in a lot of pain. Can
Yes,
you
yes.
do it just for them?
Yes, of course. Of course.
Yeah. Right. Good.
Yeah, I was doing it, and I kind of I just started thinking about my brother, because he's sick, and he's got 2 young children, and himself and his wife, they're trying to keep the whole show on the road, and it's really tough and stressful for them, and for the 4 of them, like, because
don't know about the young, but his older boy who's like 5 is picking up on the stress and the worry and all that. Like, so I was just I just picture them in it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do this with just like Connor and Gwen, what you said. People who have illness, who have difficulties in life. But remember that this is about their emotional pain, existential pain, not about their physical illnesses. So, you're not taking their whatever illness they might have, you're not taking their physical illnesses, just focusing on the mind and emotions.
Yeah, good, thanks.
And like I said yesterday, actually one way to say, I think there was somebody asking, who is fit to practice this, because it can feel overwhelming. So if there is that sense of overwhelming, this is not dangerous. It's not dangerous or harmful. You just feel overwhelmed because, to feel like Avalokiteshvara feels, like Buddha of compassion feels, you already have to have ability to remain open in the face of suffering of all beings. So this is Mahayana practice. And Mahayana, like I said yesterday, it's built on Hinayana. So you have to have, quite a bit of emptiness inside. You must have released a whole bunch of senses of self to kind of have that openness, to have that capacity to start doing this. In other words, to put your feet on the great vehicle. But also, I've experienced exactly the same things what you said. So I've also, like I said yesterday, at first I was really scared about the whole idea, taking the suffering of others because I had my own. But then gradually I kept doing my practice, and then one day it felt like, yeah, now I can do that. And I won't be overwhelmed. I still might have been a little overwhelmed here and there, but it was not like, I can't handle this. So there you have it. It's a path of growth and maturing, like I said in the beginning of this session. Alright, let's take a break for hour and 25. So we will continue 7:15 p.m. My time. So hour and 25. Okay? See you then. Have a good break.